All right, well, hello. I'm Minhan Sitak, Archives and Special Collections Librarian. And thanks to ERAC for making this event possible. And thanks to Aaron for joining us in here. By saying making office calls, we mean in those good old days, your family doctor used to make house calls and house visits. And I remember our son had two brothers as pediatricians, Dr. Stein. They used to make house calls and they even came once to our house. So rest of my life in the United States trying to find doctors like that, but they don't exist, I think. With the same good intention, we make office calls. We come and help you with your surveying, preparing your office files for transfer and to be preserved. So the presentation today is about 30 minutes and we will leave about 10 to 15 minutes for question and answer. At the end of our presentation, we will give you a link to files and records transfer kit, toolkit, I'm sorry. I call that FRACT. Alex usually, like our son, he doesn't find really funny my abbreviations and acronyms, but at least maybe you can remember this. So we with this toolkit, we prepare your files to be prepared to transfer to the archives. In this case, we help you to help us. The next slide, please. So you are meeting with special collections. I'm Ilhan Sitak, and Archives and Special Collections Librarian. I've been working here at Lehigh since 1999. The students who were born then are getting their PhDs now. Think about that. And I'm here with Alex Jaffa. Alex, if you want to introduce yourself, please.
I'm Alex Jaffa. I'm the Digital Archives and Special Collections Librarian. So I do a lot of the same work that Ilhan does in terms of making Lehigh's institutional history searchable and available and preserved for future generations. But I also do more on the digital side. So a lot of digitization, scanning paper documents, digitizing videos and audio, and then uploading it online, which we'll show you a little bit later.
I I have longer time, but Alex has a longer title, as you may notice. So archive life cycle is like 4 steps we try to show in here. We frequently receive boxes with no labels, no notes, and in many cases it takes a while to figure out the origin, who sent them, and what they are. We all love puzzles, yes, but so in this case, Aaron, have you ever sent anything to archives without the heads up email and no box label? No, okay, that's good. That's very good. But whether you have or not, this presentation is aiming to make it clear how to survey properly your office files, records, and materials to be transferred. Do I have records that will be proper to save or not, or worth keeping? It will give you an idea about that. And it's going to go through these steps, how to get in touch with the special collections, how to prepare your files to transfer. We will give you guidelines for this, and the inventory and description, how you are going to do, and then discovery and use will be our part. Next slide, please. So what we do, the university archives is in the university archives, in the special collections, we establish to collect, preserve, and provide access to the historical collections that encompass rare books, manuscripts, and Lehigh University archives. And the archives is documents, photographs, publications of the university, papers of the faculty members, Lehigh memorabilia, including fraternity and office souvenirs, thesis and dissertations. Student scholarship is very, very important for us, as important as the faculty scholarship. And we have over 20,000 photographic images and audio files too. So your office files, you may be able to determine how and what they are. So to give you an example, just recently in last 2 weeks, the request we got, for example, Arts and Sciences Academic Department would like to archive their undergraduate scholarship, senior thesis, and capstone projects can be held. A retired faculty member's office needs to be emptied for new faculty. Could we look at their files? Means, can you help cleaning? Faculty spouses really love archivists because we go and clean basements and attics. And I mean it, it is really the truth. And we got a couple of boxes, and we got a call before that. Someone dropped some scrapbooks, yearbooks, course catalog, etc. What should I do with them? And every 6 months we get like, I'm a new department coordinator, and in a closet here, there are some old boxes, and I was told these needs to be gone. Can you come and help? Okay, we do. We come, we help, and we transfer the proper files. Next one, please, Alex. So Lehigh Special Collections serves as the institutional memory of the university by preserving a variety of records and documents and other materials. When the historical records accumulate in closets, basements, attics, hallways, and corners, they are inaccessible and can easily be lost, forgotten, or destroyed or deaccessioned. This is a term we use in the library, deaccessioning. We don't throw anything away. We don't put them in dumpster or recycle. We deaccession them. But if the record's permanent, historical, administrative, fiscal, or legal value, we are transferring in an orderly way to the university archives so that that can be provided safe storage, quick retrieval when needed, and assistance with the information research request. Next one, please. And here's a question to both you and Heather. Oh, I'm sorry. Did we skip one? Sorry. The question was this: yes, does Lehigh have a records management retention policy? The answer is yes. And you need to be consulting with the Office of General Counsel to determine if your records to be kept or destroyed in a period of time. And next, please. So why don't we go to the LibGuide in here, Alex? Yes, transferring your records. So if you look at the what first need to be done and what we are transferring, what the historical records are, in this important disclaimer here, if you click on that link will take you to the Lehigh's most current records management and retention policies. And if you have any questions about details, this document, and I really strongly suggest you to contact the Office of the General Counsel. So before you send us files, please check with them, and if your files are properly, if they are historical or not. If you go back to the LibGuide, please, Alex, again. In this LibGuides, we have two important sections here, and the next slide, we are going to tell you what to transfer, what not to transfer. What to transfer, we are showing, like in general, archives accepts records and documents university activities, documenting university activities, functions, decision, and or policies and programs, both adopted and rejected, provided the records are not active, use the office creating them. Desirable records include, but are not limited to, like organizational charts, constitutions, records of the events, academic programs. What department are you in, Aaron?
Biological sciences.
Biological sciences. Are you the department coordinator?
Yep.
Okay, very good. So many of these will actually guide you about looking at. You probably will not be finding any organizational chart, constitution, bylaws, or anything, but you will have probably official events, documents, faculty papers, and some financial information. Again, you don't have to send the financial information to us. This can be sent to the proper department. And then electronic records. Alex will talk to you about how and when to transfer them also. So what not to, if we look at that little bit, the active records. For example, the records that you do use on your daily basis and you need to access to them. If you send them to us, you will not be able to access quickly. And the most important part is not any confidential or restricted files. We do not collect them and we do not keep them in the archives. The guidance for those is, again, from the General Counsel's office. So if you can go through now what you need, Alex, that tab on the LibGuide. Oh, how to transfer. Yes, I'm sorry. So how to transfer, this section is probably the most important section for you. This will tell you, before you make anything, you send anything, please call us, please contact us with the information in these 4 steps, what you need to know before you call us. But if you call us, again, as we said, we check with you, and we assist you. The important part is, again, I will put these links in the chat. You can check them. Office files, records and transfer, and Lehigh file record transfer form. The guidelines and the form, you can open them. I'll put these in the chat also, Aaron. And this is also step by step telling you what kind of survey can you do around, can you check around, and how to prepare them. If we can go back, Alex, please. And then the transfer form is very important for us to understand where everything is coming from. And if you, whether you send that's a fillable form, a PDF, and how many boxes are you sending? Is it 3? Is it 4? And are we expecting more also? And if we can go back again, please, to the LibGuide. Now, your department is responsible for shipping and handling of the office files and records. Please make arrangements with ABM or campus printing and mailing services for transfer of boxes. And we are talking about bulky materials here. And if you have only few items, we can come and pick them up and you can bring them also. We are not that kind of very, very formal in our cases. But one thing very important in here, it's not a it's a kind of like a very helpful for us to have anything in a unified form is these banker boxes. If you can put everything in there and it can be labeled easily, both labels as well as the descriptions are in that form again. And since you are the department coordinator, I'm assuming you have WB Mason account or discount in there. But Staples, Office Depot, Amazon also sells the same thing. Sometimes WB Mason can be like not in stock, but purchasing department can help you with that. So, Alex, if we can go back to the presentation, I think I will be ready to the presentation. Yeah. Okay, so we can skip that because we talked about that. What should be transferred, what should not be transferred, what we need. This is very important for us. And then you can, have you ever been to special collections, Aaron? No. And do you know where we are on land?
Is it in the library? Like, is it like a meeting area? I think I've been in a meeting in the special collections area.
Ah, okay. So we are in Linderman Library
Mm-hmm.
and we have collections. The majority of our collections up at the mountaintop, building J. And you
Oh,
are biological sciences, you are up at the mountaintop also, right?
yeah, Iacocca. Yep.
Okay, so we can come and visit you very easily, but most of our collections are in the building J. That's what
Okay.
we are on land. And then online, Alex will talk about where to find us and what happens to your office files after you transfer them. I will put the links in the chat also. And Alex, take it from you now.
Thanks, Ilhan. So a lot of what Ilhan covered, especially with making an office visit, is about the physical material. Your traditional paper records, as he said, they're in a closet, they're in a desk drawer, they're in filing cabinets. But more and more these days, of course, everything is digital. And, you know, that's not as kind of intuitive. You can't box up just, you know, digital files and put them in the mail. So how do we deal with the audiovisual or the you know, digital material? So what we've already collected for audiovisual material are things like podcasts. So different departments start a podcast. They may or may not continue. Maybe it's 1 or 2 episodes and then it stops. Some of them, like the kind of go-getters or from the president's office, those, you know, have just been going year after year pretty reliably. Also YouTube videos. I do believe the biological sciences department has a YouTube channel. I don't, excuse me, I don't remember what the, you know, how recently their videos have been published, how regularly.
Yeah, every year there's an end of the year
There you go.
kind of wrap up.
Mhm. So we are trying to capture those videos directly from YouTube, but of course, if you have the original like high resolution video files, those are, you know, that much better to get the original version. Also lecture and event recordings, right? Certain departments or organizations on campus have, you know, annual speaking events or lecture series. Depending on what those are, we, you know, might be interested in saving those recordings. For example, the Center of Ethics has recordings, but I know like the math department has annual pitcher lectures, and we've talked with them about getting, you know, whatever recordings or even advertising materials they have, you know, for those events. But we are also just doing web crawls. So without giving us anything, without, you know, any kind of physical transfer, we are just automatically going to your department's website and saving whatever is there. We try to do that about 4 times a year. Sometimes we're a little bit more regular. That way, any changes that happen on a semester to semester basis are captured. So if you add new faculty members, if you, you know, add new photos, new videos to the website, we try to capture those kind of as frequently as possible just to document the changes. We've been doing that for maybe about 3 years now. There are kind of public web archives that go back much further. If you've ever heard of the Wayback Machine that the Internet Archive uses, that is the same system that we're now using to capture data, but they have crawls that go back much further. Also newsletters and PDFs. So again, if your department, I do believe, publishes an annual kind of state of the department, you know, who's published new work, what, you know, are what PhD students, you know, what their theses are. We try to gather those all up. More and more, a lot of those kinds of news and newsletters are just web pages. And if that's the case, then our web crawls will capture them. But if they are kind of distinct PDFs or physical printouts, then we definitely want, those published items as they were published. And I'll show in a little bit, we do have a whole section in our website just dedicated to the newsletters of different clubs and departments and organizations. Also, if you have material in Google Drive or Dropbox, that is very easy to transfer. You could just, for example, share it with us or download it as a zip folder and share it that way. We definitely don't want everything in your, your department's Google Drive or your personal Google Drive, right? That's kind of the equivalent of what Ilhan is saying, the records management policy, right? Some stuff should just be kind of tossed or deleted once its use is over. But if you do have, historic material in your Google Drive, and I say historic, just material that, documents your department or your organization, then that is an easy way to transfer material. And you'll see at the bottom here, these different logos. We do have quite a few cassette tapes, not digital, but we are digitizing them. Same thing with film, VHS, film reels. If you have floppy disks, we can get content off of there. CDs, DVDs, of course, hard drives. We've gotten a couple of hard drives, more external hard drives from different groups on campus. And then here, just websites. So if you just have a URL, maybe it was for a timeline project and you're celebrating an anniversary, and now that anniversary is over and they're talking about taking down the website, we want to make sure that there is a record of that. So once we actually capture something, whether it's paper or digital, what happens to it, right? I mean, we don't want people to imagine special collections as kind of a black hole where you just send a box away and it disappears forever and no one ever knows where to find it again. So there's kind of two parts once material arrives in special collections. Part one is discovery or finding what we have. And then part two is actually using and accessing what we have, so discovery and access. The most basic way to find anything that's in the library is the library catalog, ASA, if you're familiar. However, that is really more geared towards published works, books, and articles. We do have some of our archival collections in ASA, but it's not 100% because, box of papers from the biology department is not what you would expect to find in a library catalog, right? So for that, we have something called the Archives Research Portal. So I will, let's see. No, so I will just show that. So that is this page here. So you can see it's similar to you would expect to a library catalog. There's a search box, and then you can just browse. So for example, if you wanted to search biological sciences, I spelled that correctly, right? You can see there are 19 different records that have the phrase biological sciences in that. So if you were searching specifically for your own department's history, right, that is where you would find it. You can see a lot of these are individual published newsletters. So you can see there are 18 individual items, that's archival objects here, and one digital record. So let's click on the digital record and you can see that that is the newsletters digital. And indeed, there is a link out to the digital objects. So if you were to click that, that will bring you to our digital collections repository. And you can see here that there are 17 individual objects, starting with volume 1 from 2005. It looks like it was published on an annual basis, going all the way up to volume 17 in 2021. The fact that it doesn't go all the way up to 2023 either means something wasn't published last year, or it was published and we just haven't gotten around to downloading and re-uploading it yet. We kind of operate on a time delay, but that's where the representatives in the department become so important. If you say, hey, I have this publication, here it is, please upload it. We're going to have it, archived, preserved, and made available much faster than if we're just kind of crawling on our own. Let's see. So that's the Archives Research Portal. We already showed you the library guide. That was Ilhan's how to transfer. But in addition to that, we also have this, there's other library guides, such as, actually, did you have it here? You have a link to your research?
I think you can go back to library guides from the top and then go to By Librarian.
Yeah, it's okay. Here's Archives at Lehigh or Lehigh History. So if we click on Lehigh History as the library guide, you can see Ilhan has very helpfully organized every different type of research you might be interested in. Up top here, founding, timelines, archival materials, anniversaries, campus and building, publication. So each one of these is going to have helpful resources. For example, if you were curious, what's the history you're in Iacocca Hall? What's the history of that building? How long has my department been there for? This is a resource you can look at. Same thing with Lehigh Anniversary is, I think every department tries to celebrate its, 150th whenever that happens, or 75th. So you can see there are departmental histories here that can help kind of inform your work at the university. And then lastly, for discovery, you can just email or call us, right? We're very helpful. Just send us an email and say, hey, I'm looking for a photo of Iacocca Hall when we moved in, or something like that. And we can help track down whatever that material might be for you. For actually using the collection, you already saw the here is the digital collection for this specific newsletter, but the digital repository has just a lot more stuff in it. It's not necessarily all related to Lehigh. Some of it is local history. Some of it is industrial history, because that's our kind of specialty. But you can see we do have things like the Kenner lectures on cultural tolerance. We have
maybe search the photographs for like biology and biological sciences.
I will do that. So you can see here our Lehigh photographs. We actually now have over 25,000, and we are regularly adding new materials. So if you were to go up here just to the search box, and let's just search biological, just as a single word, and see what comes up. It's a little slow of a system, but it does work. Eventually, there we go. So you can see there's 1,668 different items. Some of those are from the College of Engineering, their publication. But you can see on the left-hand side here, right, we have different collections that can break down. So the Epitome Yearbook, for example, Lehigh Photographs. So what's in the Lehigh Photographs collection about biological, presumably sciences? And when you narrow it down that way, you can see there's 99 items, and it's photos of students studying biology in the 1960s. And why do we have these photos? Why are they here? Because at some point in time, someone working either in the communications department or in the biological sciences department realized that these photographs were of historical value and transferred them to the archive, right? That's how anything that we have online ends up there. So without that transfer of material, we would not be able to make these photos available. Some are faculty, you can see. It's really kind of all over the board.
But these are very useful, Aaron, for if you are preparing any kind of brochure or a flyer for a lecture or visiting scholar. They are, in general, related to events took place in your department, and the photographers usually hired, and there are stories behind also. In some cases, the story was published in the alumni bulletin or brown and white. But yeah, so Mr. Tremblay Houses, if you know that, he was one of the most popular professors in here. So as a department coordinator, you have probably so many different responsibilities. Are you dealing with students also, graduate students and undergraduate students?
Yep.
Okay, so one of the projects we are working on right now is a pilot project, and that is sociology and anthropology department. We are creating some submission system to collect their undergraduate student honor thesis, senior thesis, and capstone projects. And if you have anything like that, you can be, for example, our ambassador there. We can maybe use you as a kind of facilitator, and we can streamline those also. Are you aware of if there are any capstone projects or senior thesis in your department?
We don't, yeah, our students present at an undergraduate research symposium at the end of the year.
Mhm.
And it's really a poster session.
Okay, okay, sometimes
yeah.
we collect those also as like slideshows and everything. If there
Oh,
is any
okay.
interest, okay.
Is
So
that
keep
the
in mind
David
also.
and Lorraine Freed? Are you talking about David and Lorraine Freed Undergraduate Research Symposium?
Mm-mm.
Okay, because that's one we have collected, and I thought if we would like to continue collecting that, but we kind of sometimes I think Ilhan and Alex might allude to the fact like sometimes we want to put stuff in the archive and then we maybe lose our person who was our connection.
Right.
You kind of have to
So that
restart
is
and make relationships.
usually one of the problems, and sometimes there are so many different types of interdisciplinary programs also with the cell biology, for example, does a lot of things with the mechanical engineering department also. Are you also the one who coordinates the thesis and master's thesis and the dissertations students,
Yep.
advising them? Okay, so one of the most important and probably useful information we have here, a tool, if I may share my screen, Alex.
Sure. Go for it.
And so I'll show you, okay, share screen, and then I will share my screen now. So I did two searches for you here because this is one of the most popular requests we get from the department coordinators. Are you able to see ASA catalog here right now, Alex? Okay, I'm sorry, because I have two screens here. So what I did here, I did a advanced search in ASA. So you go to library.lehigh.edu, advanced search. In the advanced search, you type academic dissertations, drop down menu subject, biological sciences, drop down menu subject, and we will teach you two things in here. Number one, you will be able to find out all the thesis and dissertation that is in the library, that are in the library. And if you look at the date ascending, it will tell you historically. So you see, it's 1984 because we know your department is much older than 1984.
Well, so this is why I was kind of interested in this
Yes.
workshop. So we have a department library that we have dissertations back to like the 1900s.
Excellent.
And they're paper, and I mean even the drawings are hand drawn, and you know, I can't imagine them not being preserved, you know, for historical, like that's important stuff.
How many items do you think? How many titles? Dozens, hundreds, or
No,
no?
maybe 100 or so.
Okay.
In the
Look,
recent years, we haven't been getting any
yes, because they're
dissertations.
all online. They are all online.
Yep.
So doctoral dissertations, library keeps two copies. One is online
Okay.
as PDF, freely accessible. Two is the paper copy that is in the archives.
Okay.
Okay, so we keep 2 copies, but master's thesis are only a PDF form online. So biological sciences, remember what we talked about, the university archives, the organizational charts. One of the most important part is departments change names. When the department change names, the submitting student, whatever they put on the title, that becomes the cataloging department, access subject. In this case, 1984 is the earliest Lehigh used biological sciences as the department name. If you look at the course catalogs that are online also, you will be able to find that. And biology, I did the same search as biology and subject academic dissertation, the subject biology, and I put Lehigh in here. The reason I did that because there is historical publications, non-Lehigh. So if you do your search will bring as early as 1904. So these are biology too. And
Oh,
if
good.
you
So
do-
you have them. That is our
Yes.
first one.
absolutely.
Oh, good.
So we do have biology department histories too, if you want to read them. So one of the I think they are fun though. They are really fun.
Mhm.
They will show that also. So when you come here, as you see, this academic dissertation biology, if you click on that, it will bring you everything. And of course, in this case, relevance or date will put you all in the date order. So what you have in your department right now, do you have any work study students? Do you hire them?
Not for office duties. It's individual labs have them, but
Okay.
not
So
for the
you may
general.
want to hire, or we can help you with the, assigning a student the couple times they can come. What they can do, they can look at your dissertations. When you open the title page, they are all uniform, same kind of format. They will need to search Lehigh catalog for author and title. If they can find it, that means we have it. So you have a duplicate copy, and then you can make your decision. Do we want to keep them or not? Okay, that's number 1. If they cannot find in ASA, in that sense, we should transfer that to the archives, and we should give you a electronic copy or print copy. So that is one thing you can do easily. But what I was talking about this in the library guides, if you go to Lehigh history, and if you look at the timeline and histories, there are 2 biological sciences in here. And I believe, let's see, history of biology at Lehigh, and you can read that. That's really, really fun. 1945 was the 75th anniversary of Lehigh's founding.
Wow.
So each department wrote their history. And they are fun.
Yeah.
So does that answer your question about the scholarship, student scholarship?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I have one more like if
Yes,
so
yes.
if we give you those if some are in the ASA catalog, do we get them back? Because they're displayed. We have a department library, and they're
So I think over the years, over the decades, goes before me also, usually the general practice is this. Departments would like to have a little library of their scholarship.
Yeah.
But then you are here today, and your department chair is here. Someone new comes, says, I don't want this lounging area anymore. And I mean, literally this way, of course, more polite and more official way. Can we give these to the archives? And then it becomes your project saying, okay, can you come and get them? We say, well, we don't have space. What are they? They are thesis and dissertation. Well, we have them all. We don't need them. And then in that sense, at that time, we will look for a solution, both for you and for us also. But if a department has only one copy, and that is officially submitted to Lehigh, and if it's only in your department, ideally, we should transfer the original to the archives and then create a copy for you for your reading room also.
Okay.
I think there is only few departmental libraries being maintained. Many of them are not maintaining anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But again, this all depends on your chair's decisions too.
Okay.
So, are there any other files or anything around? Closets and everything?
Not that I have found other than financial things, but our business manager takes care of that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
that we
Yeah.
usually don't, yeah. We are not interested in that, but any kind of publications, newsletters, and student projects, if you don't mind, you can try to figure out those student presentations,
Mhm.
poster sessions, and usually they are in a electronic format too, whatever Adobe or
Yep.
PDF or Illustrator and everything. We would like to have the copies of those,
Yeah.
as long as student and the faculty are agreeing that.
Yeah, I can. Our business manager does those too. We have a big poster printing machine, so she gets the slides that are
Good.
made into that.
All right.
But yeah,
Any other
and
questions?
no, this was great. Thanks for the individual
Very good.
private session.
Don't worry about it. You made our day.
Oh, very good.
That's very good. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And, you have our contact information anytime. Any questions, don't hesitate. And anything
great.
about thesis, dissertation students, they should be able to contact us.
Oh, that's great. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Are we stopping the recording?